regard to public health. The question is that past 18-19, will government seek to effectively absorb public health grant within our revenue support grant, which there won't be much left by then, or within our retained business rate monies, which effectively means that we'll be looking, if that were to happen in toto, that would mean that we would have to finance our public health activities from within our own resources. Just linked to Fiona's introduction, or rather the answer to the threats and opportunities question, the biggest threat, I think, is the shift of the responsibility for resourcing for the local authority from the government to Southwark, and it's moved like that. So any shift in resources available to us locally through business rates or council tax is now fundamentally going to impact on what services that we can deliver, and this is a direction of travel which will now increase over the next 2-3 years, I suspect.
Very worrying to hear, actually, in that particular shift.
Yes. Well, if I could just offset that by the opportunity, Fiona also mentioned the increase in our local revenue. So we are buoyant from the point of view of business rate growth, and indeed from council tax, which is arising as a result of us building houses in Southwark. If that turns around, then that does become a bit of a problem, but we're very good at doing that. We have a track record of growth, and long may that continue, and that is now helping to sustain some really fundamental budget pressures.
Okay. So a couple of questions about traded services, and then one about IT. So on traded services, I guess I'll do two together. Brilliant news that we're now looking at bringing in-house the whole of the housing maintenance contract. I'm just interested in what's the bar that we set ourselves for how good that needs to be before we will consider trading with anyone else on those specific services. I mean, I'd be a bit worried if we were going out trading with someone else when we already had worries about the service we were providing in-house. So I'm just interested in if we have a specific sense of what that bar would be. And then more generally, what are the other areas where we're thinking that there's the most potential for us to either bring things in-house or to trade our existing services beyond Southwark?
So on housing repairs, I don't think we've got quite the detail that we've said what's the bar, but what we are working through with the housing department are a set of KPIs that are around getting things right first time, and all the things you would expect for our council tenants. And we certainly won't be going out searching for business for housing repairs until we've got that service running well. I mean, it would be ridiculous, really, wouldn't it? If we weren't running a great service here in Southwark, nobody's going to employ us to do their housing repairs elsewhere. So that will be our focus for at least the next, I'd say, year and a half or more. I mean, we've got a 12-month pilot we're talking about, aren't we? Even from late 18. So I think that first year will be absolutely critical for SBS in terms of delivering that great service. In terms of further opportunities, I think pest control is very obviously the one that has most potential, and we're putting in an income target for income growth for pest control for next year. There are opportunities. You're going to talk about commercial waste later, but I think there are opportunities for us to be cross-selling there, where we are selling our commercial waste services to small businesses in the borough, to also sell pest control services to those same businesses. And I think there is a great deal of potential around pest control in our own, for our own operational buildings. At the moment, that is outsourced with the facilities management contracts, and I would hope to see us bringing pest control back in-house as being the next priorities. I think asset management, which is about street lighting and road signs and all of that, I think that's not quite so obvious, but we need to do some work. Probably other boroughs, seeking to work for other boroughs. I think Deborah is itching.
I'm itching. Yes, it's all very exciting. The other bit with asset management is the metalworking business. So we already do most of the garage doors for our own housing stock, and at the moment there is a lead garage contractor, but we do provide some Southwark into that as well. So we've got a lot of good skills, and we're going out trying to sell those skills and trying
so
to.
we sorry to interrupt, Deborah. We're part of that manufacturing train of creating those doors directly.
Absolutely, we weld the garage doors. We've got a workshop down at Copeland Road, which does all sorts of metal work. Yeah, it's and so they're not large numbers of people, but they're very skilled. And that's the case also with our staff in SBS. So I think we've got a really good skill base there, and what we're trying to do is, with all of our businesses, because it de-risks it as well as everything else, is soak up the capacity that we've got there and then kind of grow organically off the back of that. We may have to ramp that up a bit. With the pressures that Duncan's talking about, it's obviously really important that if we can bring in income, we do so, but at the same time we've obviously got to be really careful about growing in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, if I could just add to that, I think we've been through the experience over the last, is it 8 years, maybe longer, of using external providers who have scale. And I think we expected that scale would bring with it a better price and better quality. And I'm not sure we've proved that, and I think that's part of the report that's going to Cabinet tomorrow about the need for a new model.
I think we proved the opposite.
It may be that a local cost containment model, using those kind of skills that Deborah describes, is a better one. But I think the key is what we bring back to Cabinet in March, which is going to have a lot more detail in it, and certainly that would have a plan beyond October 2018 about how that first year, that 12-month pilot, actually rolls out, and how we work out whether it's successful or not, and what tweaking we need to make to it to sustain that service.
Kieran, do you have another question?
One separate question. So on the IT services, so obviously you talked about the sort of our services in a broad level. I was just interested how things are going for the specialist IT services. So I'm thinking about the databases that are used in children's services, the sort of the specific systems that are specific to different bits of the council. Are they all operating properly as well? I think perhaps not in some areas, but I'm interested in.
Yeah, there's not been any issues caused by the changeover to the shared services to those applications. There's a mixture of situations with those applications. Some are supported by the shared service, and some supported by dedicated applications teams, sometimes provided by that company that provides it. One of the things we've sought to do, though, is for all the support calls to go through the shared service rather than direct. That's allowing us to manage that better and very often resolve the problems more rapidly. And that's a change we've made in the last couple of weeks that has already improved the time to resolve those problems. Sometimes they're interrelated. You think it's an application problem, it's actually a problem with something else. So that's improving matters. But now we have the shared service, there's an opportunity on various of those applications to get on and update ourselves to the more modern and up-to-date versions of those systems. Now, we've been through a big update in the social care systems fairly recently, but there are other systems that we're running that are quite dated that we need to move on to more modern versions of.
And I know there's been a pause on the project development work. Is that now on track for things to start continuing back onto fresh project development work?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Ben.
Thanks. I'm very pleased to see the repairs service coming in-house. I know the value for money came up at Housing Scrutiny a while back, and it was quite clear that Southwark is paying, with the huge economies of scale, more than some other RSLs are, or TMOs. I know that Leather Market JMB, we did a comparison, and excuse me, the costs that they had for like-by-like repairs was actually great. So I think if we can reduce those costs, get more value for money, obviously that saves us money, but it also means it be an attractive offer for other RSLs. That wasn't my question, that was just a comment on that. I was going to ask about funding for other projects. I know money is obviously very tight.
This is the growth bit.
Exactly, and you made very a prudent comment in Council Assembly that obviously we need to be careful of new things we're spending money on. There was a commitment there, cross-party support for something certainly dear to my heart and many people's hearts, of the cycle hire, extension of the cycle hire scheme. I don't know if you can give a bit more detail about that. I think Councillor Williams had indicated the capital cost would be about 2 million, I think. That was kind of mouthed across to me over 12 million. What's
inflation?
Do you know if that's going to be linked to any particular regeneration projects, say Section 106 funding? Do you know when that money's likely to be coming through? I know that the running costs will be from TfL.
I mean, I think this is an ongoing negotiation with TfL, and undoubtedly it will be simpler to do things in regeneration areas, albeit that Section 106 and SIL get very quickly sucked up by other transport projects as well. I mean, I'm always mindful that when you're talking with TfL, you can't just cave into them. I mean, when I was first cabinet member for regeneration, they weren't going to put a single penny into transport improvements at Elephant and Castle, and then over time, actually, it turned out they did in fact have to accept that they did have responsibility to help fund the much needed improvements at Elephant and Castle, and we tens or hundreds of millions that they ended up putting in.
Certainly over 100, yes.
Yeah. So I'm always slightly cautious of saying, oh yeah, we'll just take that cost, because TfL are canny operators. Oh, we'll pay half the running cost. I mean, I think it started out that they said we would go halves on the cost, and now it's become we pay the capital costs and they pay the running costs, which is not half actually, and it's